So what happens historically in a time where we get to a place like this? Is there has this happened before in time?
Yes.
Okay. So we don't need to be alarmed at the point like humans have never been through this.
That's right. We've been through it before. Now, there's two stances on this that are both sort of wrong because they're extreme. One is, this is human beings have always said the meanings and it's a dismissive thing, and then the other one is, no, this is completely, absolutely unique. And there's truth to both. What's unique is we face a set of problems that are global in a way there was never global problems that were this complex and growing. Like we face an interconnection of the advent of, AGI. We're already facing, the growing impact of social media. People are looking at issues around the environment, energy. As you said, our political economic system is breaking down. It's gridlocking, and people are losing faith in it. And I use that word deliberately in a deep way. And so those are, I think, unique things we're facing. And I think when we're in a meaning crisis, it sort of hamstrings us. It really weakens our ability to turn our best wisdom towards these problems. Because when we're in a meaning crisis, right? So,
especially now if we're all isolated and
we're isolated, and
it's not our best. It's very self-motivated. It's not our group conscience. We're acting out of fear. A lot of people,
and we're acting out of and our ability to cut through the bullshit and to realize when we're in self-deception is being seriously challenged.
Oh yeah.
So our ability to handle this is very weak. But it is also the case that there have been other points in time in which there have been not globally, but like in the ancient West, the Hellenistic period, there was a meaning crisis at that time too.
What was that about?
So it's basic. So there's Alexander the Great. So Socrates,
was he great or not?
Well, it depends. So,
because that's a straight. I mean, that's like you're not even leaving any. You're saying, hey.
So he changes the course of the history of Western civilization in a profound way. And if that's what you mean by great, just sort of changing the course of things, he's great.
Okay. I'll give it to him then.
Well, but I also want to say, so my partner, she's Persian, and Alexander Great is the bad guy in the Persian world, right?
Oh, so it depends on who you ask, huh?
Yeah. So he's right. But what he does is, he conquers most of the Silk Road and some of the major civilizations in Asia, Europe, and Africa, and then he dies at a young age, and so his empire breaks up into his. First of all, there's a period of fighting, and the generals carve up his empire, and then there's just ongoing warfare. Now, I just want to compare two people, somebody living at the time just before Alexander, the time of Aristotle, who taught Alexander, by the way, right? This is their life. They live in a polis, a city. They've lived there, and their ancestors have lived there for all their life. Everybody around them speaks the same language. Everybody practices the same religion. If you're in Athens, you participate, well, if you're a male, right, you participate directly in the government, right? You know, but in person, the leaders. So, right, this is after Alexander, you're now in a world in which the people, might have been uprooted, people have been uprooted, moved around.
It's a little more global than at that point, kind of.
Yeah, exactly, but that's exactly the parallel. Right? So people around you speak a different language. They haven't been there for years. You might not have, your ancestors might not have been there. They have different religions.
Right, you've conquered, there's an area that's been conquered, so now there's more of you to consider whenever you're making laws and rules.
And these kingdoms are constantly shifting, so you may go to sleep in the Ptolemaic Empire and wake up in the Seleucid Empire and you don't know. And that's the thing, the government is thousands of kilometers away from you. So people felt, there's a term for this, it's called domicide, which is the killing of home. They felt they didn't feel at home in the world anymore. So this has been called an age of anxiety. And now what happened at that time, and in some ways this is the project I'm trying to do now, what happened at the time is philosophy changed in order to address this meaning crisis. So before, with Socrates and Plato, you already have these questions about meaning and wisdom. But what gets added to this existential, ethical dimension is what you might call a therapeutic dimension. Epicurus, who's one of the prototypical philosophers from this time, said, "Call no man a philosopher who has not alleviated the suffering of others." The philosopher became the physician of the soul. And what happened is philosophy took on this dimension of how to alleviate anxiety, how to increase people's sense of meaning and connectedness. And we got Epicureanism and Stoicism, and then eventually we got Neoplatonism that drew them all together. And you also had the emergence of new religions that were trying to, right? There was syncretic religions in which people were merging gods, or mother goddesses, because when you don't have a home, a mother goddess becomes a really big thing. Isis becomes a big deal. And of course, Christianity emerges in this mix too.
Wow. So that's interesting because it's kind of where we are. I see that where we've been now for a little bit, like people are gathering around speakers or men and women who are able to share a message of hope or give them make them feel like they have meaning or purpose. Why people listen to have started to listen to people like Jordan Peterson's an easy one because he's been very popular. Guys like you who are able to converse or just you're able to put into words what a lot of people can't. That's one of the problems that a lot of us have. We can't put certain things into words, so we start to, especially in times like this, you start to look to somebody who seems to have it together.